Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to Young Ripper 59, a YouTuber who does political and social commentary. He's also a fan of anime, comic books, video games, just like me, and I'm usually a fan of his opinions or takes. And today I'm curious to see what this video is about. Pedro Pascal disrespect the fans, and I'm pretty sure it's related to Star Wars and his role in The Mandalorian. He has said a lot of crazy, I don't know, socially activist type stuff in the past. So whatever he says now doesn't surprise me. It's a damn shame too, because I was a big fan of him in many movies. But most importantly, Game of Thrones, when he showed up as the Red Viper from memory. It's a damn shame. I can't remember. Oh yeah, Oberyn Martell. I was just about to say I can't remember his name in the show, but I think his first name was Oberyn. But to see him go down this woke, crazy route the last few years is pretty sad to me. I'm curious to see what he does this time, but let's just get into it.
Not at all surprising. Someone, a member of Hollywood who has said a lot of boneheaded things in the past, certainly politically. Yeah, something just so moronic to say, but it also shows and highlights the disconnect between Hollywood and actual fans, customers, whatever it is you want to say. I don't know how this story flew on the radar because I'm actually covering it 4 days after he said it. But check this out. I'm going to pull it up here in a little bit. This is coming from Variety. He actually did an interview with him. He's talking Star Wars, talking, I guess, Last of Us and all this other stuff that he is a part of right here. And such a bizarre thing. And they're first of all, the question, or rather the conversation is based on a premise that is a lie. He's talking about blind casting. Hollywood doesn't do any sort of thing. Everything that they do in terms of how they hire is with intent. It's certainly with intent, and it's also with like specifics. Definitely when you're casting something and that's a part of an established IP, it's not like, oh, we're just gonna hire whoever the best person for the job. It's just not true.
Bullshit.
They don't operate like that. And anybody that works in Hollywood, or if you worked in acting, you understand that that's not the case. Maybe for a little side character or something, yeah. But as far as like hey, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for folks that fit this bill down to a T.
Exactly. Because they put in hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into these movies, into these properties. So the idea that they just choose anybody for the hell of it and they not really thinking about the ramifications or whatever message or anything like that they're putting out is absolutely ridiculous. These people are strategic with their thinking, even if oftentimes, especially nowadays, it doesn't plan out. Look at Disney having flops after flops, putting $300 million into all these movies, and oftentimes they're not making enough money back like they used to. People are sick of this, I don't know, political correctness or social activism in their media. Like, there was times before where you could have lessons and teachings in media, but it wasn't so heavy-handed. You could learn like good traits or see good traits and see bad traits. They don't have to tell you about it. You could just follow the story, follow the characters, and actually cared about the characters. They wrote good characters that you could have empathy for, no matter if they were black or white, male or female, or anything else. And it's just sad nowadays they just watered down the product for the sake of social justice, I guess. I don't get it.
So if they swap something or change something, it's with purpose. But he had this to say. I think that change is really important, and the best way to continue representation.
Oh my God, the word. My same reaction. I'm not seeing this shit now. When you say bullshit like that, it's like with Rings of Power. They're talking representation. It's bro. It's a movie. It's a TV show. I came here to be entertained. I don't give a shit about your representation. At the end of the day, if your representation don't even make sense within the context of the story, it's only gonna take me out of it. It's so lazy. Isn't that funny as hell?
Oh man, bores me to death. It's just casting a person into a role that isn't limiting a character to racial identity. Hilariously enough, every time they race swap something, they can't stop talking about that aspect of it because they do that
Exactly.
with purpose. He says, especially if it's an IP
Exactly.
we're familiar with or a book. People get so butthurt about this kind of stuff, but
Butthurt.
who cares? This guy just taking jabs
Oh,
at customers and fans. Says because the
exactly.
coolest way of moving the needle is being open
That son of a
about the
bitch.
casting in every way. Hollywood does not do open castings. You don't do that. You do not do that, and he knows that.
Exactly.
But the fact that he would gaslight folks like that is really trippy. And
And he'll bullshit him too, because the only reason why that movie is being made into a movie that he can act in is because of fans giving so much money to whatever comic book or book or whatever original property that movie is derived from. If we're talking about Star Wars in this case, like, come on, it's because of Star Wars fans over the past, what, 50 years now almost, have been supporting Star Wars over and over and over again. It's a cult classic. It's a part of culture. But you want to throw shit on the fans because they don't agree with you, because you want to race swap characters. These people have been fans of the characters for a long time. I've been fans of these characters for a long time. I'm the biggest Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars through and through. Always have, always will. And I don't need you to race swap a character for me to feel what represented. If you want a black character in your show, then just write a show with a black character and have it be good. I'm not gonna be a fan of your character just because of black, Spanish, or white. It's because the character is good.
he's like, people get so butthurt. Who cares? I don't know. The people that like those established IPs,
Which is why you make money.
definitely for a lot of them, they're visual mediums. Comic books are visual mediums. We've seen it.
Exactly.
There's a level of expectation that is perfectly reasonable for the people that enjoy this material. See, Hollywood looks at people with such contempt
But they
and
need your money.
really disrespect for lovers of this stuff because they're not emotionally, psychologically attached to this stuff anyway. It's just another gig for them, and if it's advantageous for them to peddle some narrative, that's exactly what it is they're going to do. They don't actually care about this stuff. They're not. There's no genuine like for the most part. This is why a guy like Henry Cavill is seen like an outlier. And when pressed with a question like that, he'll say, or a subject matter, he'll say, he doesn't call these fans toxic. They are passionate because he understands that level of connection with them. And it's not maybe for you to understand. It's not to say that you can't act in a role. I would like to think you would at least try to resonate. Definitely if you're acting in a role for a IP that's established, you would think you at least take some time. But no, because it's so about you and your political or social views that it is that you want to perpetuate, people get so butthurt. Who cares, he says. What an absolute clown. Clown.
It is absolute clown because, like I said before, he has no problem taking your money. He has no problem going on these Hollywood red carpets and taking pictures, where he can only do that stuff because of fans. Same with Game of Thrones. Like, Game of Thrones is based on books by George R. R. Martin, one of the best writers of this century, in my opinion. And in my opinion, I don't think Pedro Pascal would be as big as he was, or at least as quickly as he was, if it wasn't for Game of Thrones. And I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, but the whole idea that just because I don't agree with your political views, I'm now a psycho or crazy or a stan is ridiculous. Come on, man. I don't need you to race swap characters just for me to like your stuff. Just give a damn about your own stuff the same way the fans do. And oftentimes, you'll have good art. Even if not everybody likes it, still sometimes fans will like it. Unless you have some BS like Avatar Last Airbender, who to this day I despise. I hate that movie so much. The whole earthbending scene of itself pissed me off. But let me just not get into that. Either way, I'm sick of these Hollywood actors and actresses like Brie Larson and all these other ones want to talk shit on the same fans that allowed them to be in these movies to begin with. And I say allowed because if these characters or Marvel, Star Wars, whatever it is, wasn't as big as it was from the fans, supporting it over years and decades, because oftentimes it takes a long time for a book or a video game or something to be translated over into a movie. If they wasn't supported for so long, it wasn't going to happen. But then once it is made, you can make some money off of it and push your own career. Now we're crazy people. Go fuck yourself. It's your boy Logos. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll see you next time. Peace.